Peace, love, and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Get This Wisdom Live. I am, of course, your host for the evening, Shakti Sterner, and I'm excited for this dialogue as I am excited about all the others. Um, Before we go any further, you all know that this is a family platform. So we do family things over here. You may hear the children. I may have to put the phone down, go on mute. You never know, but we gonna rock it out how we normally do. And this is the second part of our double header that we are doing today. We have our esteemed Queen Mother back on with us tonight. We have Mother Sherece Reed L, or affectionately known as Mama Sherece to those who love her. And she is, of course, the founder of Reed's Learning Street, which is an independently ran and operated African schooling center located
As she was saying, I am
self.
Cherie Reed L. With Reed's Learning Street. Uh, I have founded that in 2009, servicing the community and not only our community but other communities across the nation, our nation, melanated nation, I should say, to make sure that we have alternative sources for education for our children, our youth, as well as making sure that they get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as well as knowing what the lies are so they know what to look out for and how to spot lies.
Indeed, real eyes, real lies, real lies. And we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. We know that you just came from doing a whole nother platform, and you jumped on with us. We were able to have a conversation behind the scenes, and I'm very interested in what is going on from your perspective. Um, what are some of these local community members and organizations really up to? And what should we be doing in the manner of opposing what's going on? So definitely, let's hear about it. You went to the NAACP dinner, and how was that for you?
Well, it was definitely an experience. I am very grateful for the opportunity to have attended, to see the many faces that I saw, experience the many energies that I um, got to shake hands with and greet face to face and put names to faces and faces to names, so to speak. Yes, it was very interesting. Uh, I support my community. I support my people. I am a my people first entity, which is how I went into this uh, dinner as a representative of melanated homeschooling.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And we thank you, for taking again the time out of your schedule to attend that event as a representative of the homeschoolers, because we are a part of that community as well. And you got to, connect with people, share space with certain individuals. However, firstly, let's go here. Do you mind telling the audience how the NAACP got its origin and who may be the creator of said organization.
Certainly, I don't have any issues with speaking on the originators or those who are said to have started. I know people are familiar with the melinated or black faces that they're accustomed to knowing about, as in, let me see here. I have the book in front of me. What I can say is I do recall many, many a years ago, before we get into that, the this Freedom Fund dinner was in remembrance of the march that Martin Luther King uh, Jr. did here in Detroit 60 plus years ago, with families from here. One being a Franklin family, another being one of my family. You know, we actually, my mother, my aunt, my stepfather, they walked with Martin Luther King, stood next to him as he walked through the city streets of Detroit. So I was really expecting, I probably was expecting a little bit more than I should have been expecting. Uh, Although it was a very great event to attend. They gave
Awesome.
us this book which is what I'm looking through, and I am actually looking for the starters of the NAACP, and I am almost halfway through the book, and I have yet to get to who created and who started this great organization for us. Uh,
Mm.
my apologies, and I'm still going through the book. I'm
Okay.
laughing on purpose.
Yeah, sometimes we have to laugh to keep from crying at times. Um, for you to have such a difficult time in locating the founders in that particular piece of literature that you have in your possession should be more telling than anything. Um, you know, I'm just a little kid here. When the NAACP first got its origins, I don't even think I was born. I was born in '87. So, you know, uh, from my perspective, and I'm sure you could add, more layers to this. The intent of that particular org and similar orgs may be deemed positive for some, and for others, it may not be so positive. You know what I mean? So, um, I think that we have to use a very discerning mind's eye when it comes to certain things like that to know and understand what is actually in the best benefit of our people.
I'm going to have to agree with you wholeheartedly. Um, I feel like we need some new representation, not even representation. We need new faces, uh, new energy, uh, just fresh. We need freshness. We need all skin folk are not kinfolk. And I say that in the kindest of ways. Sometimes those that are of older or that have been doing the same thing repeatedly and getting the same result, at some point we need to do something different to get a different result. It seems to me like to do the same thing over and over again is the epitome of being crazy or idiocy.
Oh wow. Definitely. You know, that is the definition, at least the basic definition of insanity. You know, repeating the same things over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Um, with this organization in mind, you know, and how influential it has been in this society, and how, you know, it has been deemed um, a vehicle of support for those who are melanated. I think that and this is just I got to call a spade, right? Just like with certain political parties and things of that nature. What what organization outside of, you know, the Marcus Garveys and the things of that nature, what organization really has been to or been for the advancement of our community? Honestly, what can you name about that? So, you know, I get it. I get it. However, when we go into the conversation we had and certain things you were able to experience, and you know, I'm sure you may speak to some of that, and some you may more want to keep more private. Um, it just shows that we are not prioritizing our community and the needs that we have that must be met for our youth to thrive in this society. So we really need, as you said, that breath of fresh air, that rejuvenation, if you will, to that party, that org and other orgs, because we're letting others come in and try to be involved in the conversation when really they are not qualified to speak on certain things because they themselves or their communities have went through what we have and what we're still going through. So, you know, I think we should be a little bit more race focused. As you said, you're a race woman, race first woman, and not be so quick to include others in conversations that we should be having amongst ourselves.
Look at it like this. I have my family. I've got my sister, my brother, my mother and father. Then we have extended family, who would be my aunties and my cousins, my uncles and my cousins. Then we have my additional extended family outside of that, which would be my second and third cousins and aunties and uncles. So first, I'm going to discuss with my family right here, my immediate. I'm going to be concerned with making sure that my mother and father, my sister and brother, we're all stable. I want to make sure that we're getting what we need before I branch out and say, okay, well, let me make sure that my family over here is also getting what they need. I'm not saying that we're not family. I'm saying that my immediate family is my first priority. And my immediate family is my melanated family. After that, then would come any other family, denomination, or group. My melanated people come first. I don't care if you're male or female. My melanated people come first because that's my family. Then after that will become other extended family members. That's just how it should be. That's how it is.
Mm, absolutely. That's what other, you know, family groups do, and other
Yes,
classifications of people. They tend to focus more so on what is needed for their family to thrive. So, shouldn't we be operating in the same fashion?
most definitely. So no one else should be frustrated or upset or feel some type of way or left out if I am looking after my family first. I can't do anything for you if me and my family are not stable. So why would you want me to make sure that you're good and then I fall off and now my family is nowhere to be housed or nowhere to eat from or not having basic needs? Why make it make sense to me? Why would I look after your family and not mine? It
That that part.
And that's what other families do. I'm calling them all families. That is what they do. They look after their families to ensure their survival, their continuation. So, what is wrong with us doing the same thing? What is wrong with these organizations that are supposed to be making sure that we as a family are advancing forward? Why are they not focusing on us as a family? Why are they including all other families in the advancement of us or the survival of us?
It's funny, but it's not, because you would think that that's a common sense factor. You would think that, since, let's just call it out, um, whites, the whites look at their own people, whatever form of white you want to call it, the Jews, whatever. They look after their own. Um, we look at the Afro Latino community. They look after their own first. We look at the Oriental community, whether it be Asian, North Korean, Japanese, whatever. They all look after
After their own first.
their own, even those who are wrongly painted as the Arab. They look after their own first. We are the only family that is told we have to not focus on ourselves, but focus on everyone else.
Yes. Make sure we include everybody else's family in everything that we do as a family. Yet these other families don't have to do that. They're not doing it. They're not even giving anybody the opportunity to say, hey, you have to do that. They're moving on their own as a unit. This is what we should be doing. The same thing, moving on our own as a unit. Self sufficient. Self preservation is the first law. Where is it that we as a family are not supposed to be self preserved? Where is that stated and said? In what book? On what piece of brick? Enlighten me. Someone let me know out in the audience. Somebody let me know where it says that we should not be self preserving of our family. I'll wait.
I got an answer for that. I got an answer. Sadly, and she's right. There, there are really no particular doctrines that say that verbatim, that we're not supposed to be self-reliant and self-sufficient and community first, family first. Nobody says that directly and verbatim. However, the United States Constitution tells us that, with the three-fifths clause, that we are not considered a complete human being within ourselves. Each person, and I clear my throat on that one because I really don't like to refer to us as people of color. Um, each person of color is only three-fifths of a human. So the United States Constitution tells us, without telling us, that we should not be focused on ourselves because we're not even a human being to begin with in their eyes. And I had to bring that into focus. I had to, because when we look at, the NAACPs and the Black Lives Matters and all these cute little orgs that were put into the community as a guise of being for the people, Who do we think that those organizations really come from?
That part. A lot of times, these organizations, not just any one, but different organizations, are put in front of us to get us on board with their agenda. And it gets the momentum going. Oh, well, let's take, for instance, the previous one with the BLMs, the Black Lives Matter. The moment got everybody on board. Oh, just for everyone to find out that that organization was not at any part for us. So again, when do we realize that not all skin folk are our kinfolk? When do we start realizing that self-preservation is the first law, and that is a law?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How many
Absolutely.
organizations do we allow to continue to get our money, our time, our energies, until we realize that we got to come together as a family, and we have to stop letting others infiltrate, uh, excommunicate, all of that. And I'm speaking on all levels, from the poorest of the poor to the richest of the rich. There are those that are sitting up there watching what is going on, and they're allowing certain things to go on without saying a word, because they're making sure that their pockets are laced, that their family, quote unquote, is taken care of and has a future generation to come and future lineage to look at. When do we do that?
When we stop falling for the okey doke.
That part, okay? Okay, okay.
The okey doke. Yeah, it's a continuous, narrative. Yeah, us younger folk, what we like to call it, the Captain Sable, you know what mentality. We want to run and come to everybody else's aid, and then when we look at our own community, we tend to look at them in a form of disgust. But if the whites need help for their political movement, we're there. If um, the feminists, who is also a political movement, they need help, we're there. If the Asians who are getting murdered down in, I guess, Florida need help, we're there.
But who's there for us?
Absolutely nobody. I believe it was Dr. John Heinrich Clark that said we have no friends, right?
We have not a friend,
Yep.
yet
But
we are friends to everyone.
everybody except ourselves. That's a
Ah,
sad reality. Very sad. But that's how reality is, and that's why certain organizations are in existence to keep us distracted from what we should be doing.
and this is true. This is true. Now, there are some really good grassroots organizations out here, though,
For sure.
that are really actually doing the boots on the ground work out here, but you don't see them on social medias uh, as much as you see these other organizations that are not doing grassroots work. They're just all about money. But the truth to power individuals are actually not in the spotlight.
Not at all.
There are some really good individuals that are out here doing some boots on the ground work, actually working in the community every day, all day, and don't get any recognition. And they need recognition because they're working for our family, self-preservation, while others in these different organizations are working for their personal gain or for their family self-preservation.
Yeah, definitely. You know. that political realm, politics are everywhere, even with places they definitely should be, such as spiritual uh, organizations. Now this becomes a matter of, and I believe you said this in our private conversation. It doesn't really matter, what religious system you follow or what spiritual belief system you live according to. We should be able to, kind of put that on the back burner and come together in unison on common ground. However,
Yes,
it's still a difficult task, especially with like the people that are doing the true grad boots on the ground work. And shout out to those beautiful brothers and sisters. There's so many of them, they don't get enough praise and spotlight. However, it makes it really hard for those people to get the recognition they deserve, for people who are genuinely invested in the healing and the advancement and the reconciliation of those who are of African descent. It makes it real hard for us to do this when we have these strategic obstacles put in our way. This is strategy here. This is warfare.
this is
So,
true.
you know, we're dealing in a game of chess and we're playing checkers. We're on the checkerboard and they're on the chessboard that we built for them.
That part, when we need to be making chess moves and not
Mhm.
checkers. Why are we getting jumped when we should be making strategic moves, thinking 3 and 4 steps ahead, just as they are? I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Oh goodness, I was on mute. The Queen Mother is very diplomatic in her wisdom, and I admire that, and I strive to be that on a daily basis. However, I still got some growing to do. So we're not gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. The NAACP, the Civil Rights Movement, and so many other things are complete. Just they're not for us at all. They were never created for us to advance. They were created to keep us complacent and accept that pacification. So we don't want to move forward. We don't want more. We're okay with the crumbs that we get. We are fine as long as we can go sit down in a room with Becky, Bob, Bill, and all these other people. We're okay with that because we now can use the same toilet. How does those breadcrumbs hold any weight to what has been done to us in this westernized world and even all over the world, but particularly here? How does being able to sit at the same restaurant or use the same toilet or use the same drinking fountain hold any, comparison of what we have been through, what we have suffered through, what they have done to us, what they have done to our children, and what they continue to do right now, but using black faces to move their agenda. See, they're
I
not
agree.
black. Go ahead, mama.
This that's the issue. Well, that's part of the issue. The agenda, as you said, keeping us dumbed down so that we don't move forward, keeping us preoccupied with everything else or entertained with everything else as opposed to educated to be able to move forward. While they're educating, we're entertaining.
Wait, wait. Whoa, whoa. You got to say that one more time. One more time.
I'm so serious. While they're educating their youth, and their family, we're entertaining or being entertained by our youth and our family. Doing the
Mm,
buck dance the same way they had us doing back in the day, that I was better. Well, in my opinion, we were better at being separate because we supported our own, we bought from our own, we got from our own, we did it on our own. We didn't have to be a part of any other family. We were okay with our family and we maintained before they came in and decided to bomb our families because they were not happy with us being separate, and we were not equal by any means. We were doing much better, well off, and that was, again, that was part of the problem. They did not care for us being so prosperous, driving in fancy cars while they're in wagons and horse-drawn buggies and etc. And looking at us, and you know no, slavery didn't stop and hold anything for us. No. So yes, they don't want us to see what's going on so that we don't advance. Again, that putting different organizations in our face so that we can be entertained instead of educated.
mm. Can we get your thoughts on, and just to add another layer of perspective, right? Because we all know that this whole affirmative action thing just became a topic of discussion yet again, and its removal of such from, I guess, certain laws and legislation. Do you mind sharing your thoughts on that?
Well, with the affirmative action, it was not geared at us anymore, anyways. Everyone else was starting to, well, everyone else was taking advantage of that affirmative action. So I don't feel like it's a harm to us because it was not doing us a lot of good because others were taking advantage of it anyway.
Cert- Similar to civil rights. Oh,
Yes,
this.
there were the what is that, the women's groups were taking advantage of the. Don't get me wrong, I am a woman, although I'm a melanated woman first. I'm melanated before I'm anything. I'm melanated. So that's what it's supposed to have been for. Yet you've got all these different other factions now taking advantage of it, and you've got women saying that they were taking it, getting taking advantage of it. Now you've got others that are not even all that were not. Uh, you've got those that were not born a natural woman now stating that they're women and getting these affirmative rights for women. So, again, which goes back to we are not the ones that were getting the advantage from it anyway. Others are now getting all the benefits of pretty much everything.
And yet and still, we have nothing.
Nothing
It's
at all.
it's kind of like we were used in that accord as well. We our plight, our strife, our struggle, our trauma was used as a front so that all these unnatural things could come in and seek benefit, such as those artificially gendered people.
Nothing against them. I I was better when we were separate and whatever some others considered as equal. I was okay with not having to see and participate with multiple other different families and how they live their lives behind closed doors. I'm okay with not knowing how someone. I'm okay with all of that. I am focused on my family and my family's longevity. So I don't have time or energy for any of the other shenanigans or not shenanigans to because to other families it's not shenanigans. To me, it's shenanigans. And I accept the fact that what I'm on may be shenanigans to another family. I'm okay with that. I'm focused on self-preservation of my family, educating my family, not entertaining my family, not going to any not going to gatherings that are entertaining. I need to go to gatherings that are edutaining. If I need it to be a combination of education with entertainment to grab you, then I'll do that. Our family needs to get focused on us though and not allow others to infiltrate, partake, uh, dictate any type of aid. No one else can, we cannot allow others to tell us how to, to run our family. That's the bottom line.
Absolutely. One moment, please. My little one is crying. 1 second.
No problem. While you are taking care of her, that's what this is all about. Us maintaining our families. And that baby is a part of the family as well. We need more families to do that. School and give the children the knowledge that's not available in the system or what's not being allowed to give to them. Uh, have the option of homeschooling or road schooling, differently schooling. Be open to unlearn so that our children get the opportunity to learn something new and not do the same thing over and over again. And we expect a different outcome or, a different result. Let us do for us. Once upon a time, my elders, my aunts, my uncles, my grandmother, grandfather, my my great grandmother. Well, we all educated. I come from a line of educators. It's in us naturally in each group or each faction what it is that we have to bring forth to our community. If we focus on that and do just that, then we don't need any others to dictate to us how to take care of our family. We take care of our own families. Self-preservation then becomes our first law naturally, nor do we need to depend on anyone else for that, as in giving us entertainment to keep us uh, occupied or busy so that we don't grow. You know, that's just like, you give the child a TV instead of them growing and filling up with all the different creativity that's out here. All they have is this box and what's inside that box and what's on the screen in that box. Give them the opportunity to turn around and turn that box off and go outside and see how the world actually is run. Turn off the social medias, the Facebooks and the Instagrams and give the children what they need so that they can survive out here when they do step out into the world. Give them the political wisdom and knowledge that they need to make good decisions, to select good representatives for them, uh, to know how to select a good representative. Show them how to research each different individual that's in politics so that we don't just have the same person there based off of a name or just because we like them. Or what about that person are they providing for us as a people to move forward and to have self-preservation? If they're not giving us what we need as a people, as a family, why are we giving them our energy? Show the children how to dissect what each different political individual is doing in the community. Put their feet to the fire. Make sure that they're out here in the community doing what they're saying they're going to do. Don't just keep voting them in and they're still not doing what they said they would do the first time that they were voted in, and they're still sitting there 10, 20 years later, or or 2, 4, 5, 6, however many years later, still doing the same thing. That's idiocracy to me. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, it's not going to happen. Give it something new. My apologies, I'm getting long winded again. But the ultimate result is we as a family have to depend on us. Let's fix us first. Let's work on us first. And then we can branch out and work with others after we get us together. That is how other families work. They get themselves together and then they branch out and trade with other families. They get their farm going, and now you've got everybody working to get the ground going and get the soil ready for the next year's yield. And when it gets cold, you got some that are in the family or in the house after we've picked the fruits and vegetables that are canning to get things together for throughout the summer. And now some of that's being sold or traded with other families and what they have to yield. We need to get back to taking care of us, family. That's keeping it truthful, and that's bringing back the power, not allowing anyone else to dictate how we as a family make moves. I digress.
I'm back. Thank you so much for taking over, so I could tend to the little one. Um, she's correct. One thing that has been coming to me over the last couple months, especially here local to our area, is the number of women of African descent that have been murdered and or harmed by one of our own men. In order for us to move as a cohesive unit, as a family that we once were and that we can be again, black men and black women, we have to stop operating like these Europeans in blackface. When we were back over in the motherland, yeah, there were such things as tribalism and all that stuff. However, when it comes down to it, back in the motherland and our ancient tribes and villages and civilizations, we were not doing things like we're doing them now. We're moving without structure. We're moving without honor. We're moving without respect. We're moving without love. So we have all these different things that we have opposing us right now and have been opposing us for centuries now. We have these organizations, that are trying to include everybody's political agenda and their mama when they supposed to be for the betterment of those of African descent. You have lack of opportunities going on, lack of sound, proper education, like the Queen Mother was speaking on, lack of uh, basic life necessities such as roof, housing, food, water, even. We have all these different vehicles of attack going into the workforce. Black man can barely get a job because he's a felon or he doesn't have, quote unquote, the proper education or enough experience. Women going into the workforce. Well, she's going to be made hard because she's working and slaving for somebody else to try to take care of her family. Um, we just have so many different levels of obstacle and opposition. We have to stop treating each other like the enemy when our open enemy is just sitting back, moving his little chess pieces even further on the board and taking ours off.
Facts.
We almost at the point of checkmate. We have to do better. We are better. We come from better. We have allowed the system of white supremacy and its beneficiaries to come into our land, our communities, and strip, steal, pillage, take everything from us and use it against us. They are using our own information. That's not their information. They're not intelligent enough to develop such things. They stole it. And instead of us
Facts.
coming together and taking what's rightfully ours back, we begging for a seat at the table and be able to drink out of the same water fountain. Got to do better. Got to do better. And the reason why I brought this up, because right now, if you are local to the Michigan area, even more so Detroit and Lansing, there is a 2 year old little girl of African descent who's missing right now. She was kidnapped from her home last night in Lansing, Michigan. The person who kidnapped her is a male of African descent, 28 years old. He is not her biological father. They have this man in custody, but there are no signs of this little baby girl. Her name is Winter Smith. If you look on Google, go on your social medias, find this child's picture, and just keep hope alive for that baby. That's all I want to say on that.
Yes, yes. Let's bring this baby home safely. This is a major, we don't get enough word out about ours. Everyone else gets Amber Alert or whatever you want to call it. So this is a chance and an opportunity for us to come together. Let's look for this baby. Let's, no matter where, just keep an eye out. Like she said, Google the picture so you can see her bright, pretty eyes, just in case you happen to see her wandering on the street or someone else has her in their possession and you can just say something. Let's speak up. Let's bring this baby home.
Indeed, Queen Mother. So for me, it's definitely as per usual, always a pleasure, always enlightening, always I'm making my mind work and still sharpening. Still, I so love you and adore your presence and your wisdom that you offer to me and so many others. We're gonna get ready to wrap it up because it's 9 o'clock. However, before we do so, do you have anything that you would like to share with the public about your endeavors and how can we be a source of support for you?
I do want to make sure that everybody knows that there is something big coming next year in the homeschooling community. Uh, Collaborations are coming together with Get This Wisdom Magazine Live and Reed's Learning Street. We're looking to get other collaborators with us to have something really big coming next year for these babies. Protect the children, keep the children as the center, as the forefront. I don't want to focus on myself, so I that's all I have is just keep the children as our goal. And I appreciate you for allowing me to even come on here and speak my piece and let my opinions be heard.
Um, absolutely, absolutely. And just to echo a sentiment of her greatness, you can purchase the unschooling guide that was created by Mama Sherece and another lady, I believe, uh, from Karmic Dynasty. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yes, that's correct. I, it's so much going on. Yes, the unschool guide, the homeschool guide is available. King the Swimmer, he's also a part of Reed's Learning Streets, Support the Future. He's got Olympic goals in sight. We are going to Olympic trials in March. That is the goal. And you all know how they do us as a people. So let's make sure we support the future.
absolutely, absolutely. And again, I thank you, part of my tribe, my village, my family. I love you so much. Thank you for coming on here with us. And before we depart, I'm going to say, please tune in Wednesday evening where we will be having a discussion and examination on the Sarah Bartman story and how that is still present with us currently. That will be this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, on behalf of my family to yours, thank you so much. Oh, hug your loved ones, protect the children, and until next time, peace, love, and Black power.